All right, looks like we are live. I don't even know how to check to see if I'm live. So everybody out there listening right now, this is Dean. I'm coming to you live. It's a surprise live. If you're watching this replay, make sure you watch all the way to the end because I am too excited about this interview that I'm about to do. I am so honored to do it. And quite frankly, the way this all panned out is nothing short of divine in terms of the connection is the way it panned out. So let me just give you a heads up of what we're doing here. I've been thinking about, 2021 like most people, but here's the difference. Most of the time, what you hear is all the stuff that has gone wrong in 2020. And people are saying, how do you want to end 2020? Are you still, do you end strong, Here's the problem. The most successful people in the world aren't thinking that way at all about ending strong. You want to know why? Nothing changed for them in 2020 except for all the pandemic stuff happening around them. They were still out there crushing it every single day, pivoting and using this as an opportunity to find other ways to overcome different challenges that are happening. So for the most successful people in the world, 2021 began a while ago. So if you haven't heard that yet, right now it's time to play catch up. But there is good news for you if you are somebody who feels like you are stuck behind the 8 ball, or you feel like you haven't quite caught up to what's going on, or whether or not you're going to crush 2021 when it comes. There's good news because with me today is one of the most dynamic, dare I say, badass biz leaders that I've connected with in a long time. My now friend Amber Frelin is giving me the opportunity to go deep and dive with her today so just a little bit of a background. I'll let Amber do some justice to this, but just from what I've gleaned over the last couple of days, by the way, she is what I call a heart-centered leader, which means she really focuses on the impact. And you know how impact is important to me. She focuses on the impact she's going to make and leads with the idea that people need to be served first in a big way before she even thinks about income and abundance and the rest that comes with it. And that's how she leads. And she's been able to help hundreds of, especially healthpreneurs and heart-centered leaders, actually step into their highest level of impact, abundance, and freedom. And who the heck doesn't want that, especially like we're talking about with 2021 rolling around? You don't want to be steamrolled by 2021. You want to roll over 2021 and conquer all the mountains that you want to climb. So without further ado, Amber, welcome to Dean Forbes Live.
Thank you, Dean. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that this is going to be one of my favorite lives, I think, because when we connected, we almost instantly realized that it was a great connection in the first place. And a big question out there, just to like really kick this off and really dive deep, is, so actually there are two. So one is, we're coming to the new year and people make a lot of resolutions. And we know that, only about maybe 10% or so of the resolutions actually get met because those are actually goals. And the other 90% is just talk, and hot air. So one of the questions I definitely have, which pertains to everyone, what people might be thinking out there is, how am I going to ensure that I meet all of my goals, crush them in 2021? Like, what are some things that I need to do to make sure that that happens? Here's the second question, though, because this is a two-part. The second question is, I'm thinking that people were right because I look in the mirror and I say to myself, I really should be further along by now. Why is that not happening? And I've consumed so much information in 2020 because of all the free time I've had due to COVID, and I'm still nowhere. So what does that mean for me? Is what Amber and Dean about to talk about even applies to me? So Amber, why don't you start us off by just giving us a soft landing into two of those things before we dive a little deeper on it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So how do we ensure that we're going to reach our next goals? So many strategies, so many tools, so many details I could dive into, but what it really comes down to ultimately is how are we going to help those we're meant to serve reach their goals? And the second part of this question is, how do we learn how to present what we do to the people that we're meant to serve in a way that they can hear us and in a way that we can provide certainty for them that we're the ones to help them achieve those goals?
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I heard you say something there. I'm gonna dive right in on that, because as you know, Amber, I don't plan these things. I let you lead the way. I heard you say something that is really near and dear to me in terms of what I teach. So you said, present yourself in a way so that people can hear us. So one of the biggest problems out there that are faced by people who do what we do is that we have this fear, this doubt that people aren't going to hear us, even though we have a magnificent message that we want to share. So just drop a couple of knowledge bombs on us right now about what you need to do to make sure that you're heard. Just to make sure you're heard and people can go, you know what, I can do that.
Yeah, this is great. What I'm seeing here, what I'm learning here is becoming crystal clear. And this is so important. It's all so simple. If you're an entrepreneur out there, you're not at the exact level you want to be, you can't figure out why. What you're going to learn is that all of these things are so simple, and we often overcomplicate these things. And this has been becoming even more apparent to me lately. And so to answer your question, how do you make sure that you're heard is a step that so many skip, and it's to start with listening. So, I know it's so like mind-blowingly simple. I think though that one of the biggest problems in entrepreneurship and with people growing these amazing empires and leading with impact is that we know, because we're well versed and we've learned a lot of things and we've been doing things for a while, we know what people need. But the problem is we're presenting it in our own language. And one of the biggest pivotal pieces that I've done, that I've helped a lot of people do, is share what you're doing in the terms of the people that need your help. And what that takes is listening. And it's a step that so many people miss.
Wow. And by the way, if you're watching me out there right now and you're watching my face, I wasn't laughing at anyone or laughing at you. It was just funny when Amber said what she said, because the truth is, if you think about it, here's what I heard Amber actually say, because I was listening, is that you have a magnificent message to share, and you're sharing it, except since you haven't listened to the people who you're trying to share it with, you don't actually know how to share it with them so that they can hear it, because you haven't spoken directly to their pain or directly to their pleasures or directly to their challenges or directly to whatever the hell it is that's going on with them right now. And in order to be heard, you first have to listen. That is probably one of the most powerful ways I've ever heard that put when it comes to communication. And the reason for that too is I used to ask people all the time, how many of you are formally trained on writing and speaking? And everybody says, oh, absolutely, I went to school. And I say, how many of you are formally trained on listening? And people, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? No hands go up, right? So that is an important skill for sure, because otherwise there's nothing we can do if we're not listening. So I love that. So just to stay in that phase right there, Amber, I've got another question for you then. And that is, tell me about the time when you recognized that you needed to start listening at a deeper level. Tell me about it. Walk us through that pivot or that shift at any point in time where you said, you know what, I probably need to listen a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. There have been many times, actually.
Give us one.
Yeah. So I mean, the one phase would be, as a new entrepreneur, pouring, blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak, into something that is absolutely amazing, and it changes lives. And maybe you've had the chance to help a couple of people with it, but you're just not able to grow it to the level that you'd like. And it's gold. Mm-hmm. And that there were just moments when I was also, there's a deeper level of this. I just want to share. I know what it's like when you're in that place, and I know what it's like to be in like a scarce financial place at that time too. And there's many times where you're thinking like, I'd love to be an entrepreneur, and I know I'm meant for so much, but I'm just being stretched to my limit. And maybe it'd be easier to get a job. I know a lot of people are in that position. I've heard it a million times over the last few years, but there's this, for me, it was like this bubble pops, like this breaking moment, like you're in the pressure cooker. Things are getting hard. You're not giving up. You're hanging on. You're doing this, but you get overwhelmed to an extent where this bubble just pops. It's the only way I can think in my head right now to explain it. And when that happens, you just sink into the heart, and you're just like, you know what? I'm going to stop forcing these pieces to fit, even though I need this to work and I'm feeling some pressure. I'm just going to chill and relax for a second. Let me have some deeper connections with people. Let me just connect, like almost like not take a break, but just breathe for a second, because we all know how that feels. And in that moment, I find that that's when you're naturally able to listen. You've relaxed a little bit. You've let some pressure off. You make some really deep connections with some really amazing people. And you're not out there to get a sale or out there like in a heavy promotion phase. And that energy shift, that ability to listen, that ability to really hear what people are wanting is a lot of times when things start to grow really quickly in business. That's what comes through for me when you ask that question.
Oh, I love that. I love that analogy. So, for that bubble pop to happen, see, here's what I know. I understand, I should say, the next question that comes up for people. Okay, you know what, Amber, that sounds really good for you, right? That sounds good for you and probably that other guy sitting next to you or whatever. So here's the next question that comes to mind. It's like, what drives you to keep you in that space? Because you don't just wake up every day and just do it because you're Amber. There's something that goes on with you, some kind of routine, some kind of awareness that you have and that you keep at the forefront of your mind and at your heart in order for you to get up in that space every day and do that badass stuff. So what is it for you that drives you to do that?
Oh, I'm like choking up already just thinking of answering this question. I regularly, very, very frequently take a little look, many, many years ahead in my life towards the end of this life. And I look back on my life. I review my life often, every day, honestly. When I go to bed at night, I sit from the space of much later in my own life and I celebrate. Whew.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you. I should have brought the tissues in here. I've been known to cry. I've actually pretty comfortable crying publicly, but nonetheless, I reflect and I look back at all the moments on my life from this day forward and back, of course. And I look at those moments and I celebrate the courage that I had to do the things that scared me each and every day and to help people on a really high level. And I review my life. I review my life from later on. And it makes it a no-brainer for me to do whatever takes courage tomorrow and whatever takes courage the next day. And I see those people. I see the people that I'm meant to work with on this planet. And I feel their gratitude and I reflect on life knowing that I always did what scared me, frankly.
Nice. I love that.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for being so vulnerable, by the way, because, that's what people need to understand is that, you're human, we're human and we go through the same kind of struggles and but we use them to fuel us instead of, push us down on the ground and keep us down. I've always said that to complain about your woes in life while at the same time doing nothing about it is like volunteering to be the sole of a shoe on the foot of a growing giant. I mean, because I'm thinking, no, we can't do that. So we got to use them to fuel us, and you've used it as fuel, no doubt. So here's what comes to mind, Amber, is I think that many of the coaches and the entrepreneurs we want to help, they do sometimes hit a roadblock that says, hey, you know what? I want to do this and I know I'm meant for more, but for some reason, I'm holding myself back or I'm not going to do it. And I've heard a lot of the cliche stuff out there about why you should continue and keep going and you're 2 millimeters away from success and yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing that I think is overlooked, and I want you to get into this with me right now. And that is, how would you feel if you knew you could do this? You could help people transform their lives the way you have with so many of your clients already. How would you feel if you knew that you had that in you, but you didn't pursue it or do anything about it? How would you feel?
Exactly. And that's the opposite of my nighttime process. I think about that too. I'm not willing to face that.
You're not even willing to face. I'm not even going there. I'm not even going to face it.
It's what allows me to do the opposite, though. That terrifies me more than anything. Looking back and saying, "Oh man, I had the opportunity to do that and I didn't take it. Oh man, I cowered it out on that. I chickened out and this happened and it's a ripple effect."
Now, so hold on. See, here's the thing. I'm going to be dramatic right now because
Okay.
you just underplayed something that to me was the most important thing you said.
Okay.
You said that terrifies you more than actually going into the fire and doing the damn thing that you got to do. It terrifies you more. If you're listening out there, did you hear that? Okay. Amber just said if she had to know she had this in her to help you, help all the people she's helped before, and then didn't do it, she's more terrified of that than falling out on her face and having to get back up. Is that what I heard you say?
Absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So what message would you give to those of us out there, you know, those healthpreneurs, those heart-centeredpreneurs out there that are looking to really elevate, take their game to the next level? What message would you have for them to say for them, you know, face this, go through the storm. You deserve to do this, and you're doing the world a disservice. How would you preference that to them?
Mm-hmm. If you're having trouble stepping into your purpose and really like showing up big with confidence in what you provide to the world, there are a couple processes you can look into, but here's the biggest thing. The mirror is faced the wrong way.
I got to hear this.
You're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're feeling unconfident in that moment. You're feeling not confident enough to really step up. And all that takes is turning that mirror around and shining it on those that you're meant to serve. That's where the courage comes from, I believe. For me, it does.
Okay. You know what? Here's my mic and I'm dropping it right now. Just because I haven't actually heard it quite put that way. You know, every time you hear about the mirror, it's about looking within and looking at yourself. But actually shining the mirror on those that you're meant to serve is almost like shining the mirror on you and the disservice you might do if you don't serve them people. Wow. Amber, that is brilliant. You know, hey guys, look, if you're feeling this, if you're watching this right now, just drop some love down there for Amber because she's already killing us with the nuggets and the knowledge bombs here. And if you got a specific question, I'll be glancing over at the comments here and I'll see if I can get Amber to answer them. I'll twist her arm a little bit and get her
yes,
go as far as we need to go. So just drop some love down there if you can and just let us know that you're feeling this. I agree. Amber is so awesome. You got that right. That is Charmin Thigpen Griffin.
Charmin.
Yeah. She's fire.
Thank you.
And we got Grayson out here who says that's her biggest fear. That's my biggest fear too, which is not doing what you're supposed to do. So we got some people out here checking this out, which is awesome. All right, cool. So let's move to a different area right now in terms of my next question.
Okay.
What do you recommend that people do when they get stuck? So let me just define stuck. Stuck is you're doing a whole bunch of busy work all day long, but at the end of the day, you're drained and you got not one thing done that you wanted to get done. Mm-hmm. What do you suggest for people to do when they hit that phase?
Yeah. Well, first, make sure you've got support. Make sure that you are following the lead of someone who's done exactly what you want to do in the past. And when you have that, you need to then make a decision that your business gets to grow in a way that feels good for you. There's no rules. There's strategies. There's a lot of people who've come before. There's a lot of things that work and there's a lot of things that don't work, and that's fine. But there's also a lot of personalities that are different. Mm-hmm. And until you find a way, decide that your business gets to grow the way that you want it to, doing the tasks that fill your soul every day, working as many hours as you choose, working with as many people as you choose, whether you want email lists to sell your stuff, whether you want funnels, whether you just want to have conversations, group programs, private stuff, it doesn't matter. It's making that decision and stepping into the belief that you are in fact powerful enough to create a business model that will produce the results that you want, and that you jump out of bed excited to do. Until you have that feeling of waking up in the morning, knowing that you get to do exactly what you want to do because you've chosen that, you formulated a plan and gotten the support you need from someone who's been there. You know, every day is going to be tough until you get those things in alignment. It doesn't have to take long, but when that's not there, the problem is you may find yourself forcing pieces to fit according to things that you feel like you have to do that you don't actually love. And the biggest problem with that is that your energy is out of alignment. It's not actually that the tasks don't work.
Mhm.
If you were in alignment with them, they would. So until you create a business model that you love that produces results, your energy is going to be off and you're going to swim upstream.
So here's what I love about that, because I take these little gems when I hear somebody who's really passionate and obsessed with excellence talking. And for those people who are watching right now and listening, and if you're watching this replay, you want to put hashtag replay in your comments so we know that. But what I heard is, my father used to say this all the time. He said, Dean, if you chase 2 rabbits, you will never catch one. And I have a feeling that a lot of us, we end up chasing 2 rabbits or multiple rabbits, and then we don't ever catch any. And that's what I heard coming out of what you were saying, because we don't actually find the alignment. We just think it's the next shiny thing that we need to chase because that's going to help us get to. So we're looking for the alignment out there when really we need to look for the alignment in here and then choose what we attach that alignment to accordingly. That's what I heard you say pretty much when you came out with that. And I think that is such a prevalent problem, if you will, when it comes to that. So Amber, do you have any, if you give 1 or 2 recommendations around how do you find that alignment? How do you align yourself with your purpose, with that thing that drives you and that fuel in your gut that makes other people as obsessed as we are about what we do?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it comes down to what you love to do. It starts with what you love to do. So you and I both, we know, and we've discussed that we love doing things like this, right?
Yeah.
We love showing up live on video. It's one of our highest joys.
One of our highest joys.
And so a lot of people hate doing that. And so maybe they would be better off building an amazing email list, giving some value to their audience and promoting that way. Maybe you and I would be smart to keep diving into what we love to do, knowing that we've decided that this is a big pivotal piece of our business. Mm-hmm. So it starts with what you love to do. Anything can be done. You find what you love to do most, that feeling that fires you up, and you choose to build something around that. And there's usually a few things that we really, really love to do. And that's where we start.
Oh, nice. I love that. I see my man Braden is tuning in over there. Yo, Braden, if you got some questions for this young lady here, you should drop them in the comments because I know how deep you can get, my man.
Awesome.
Yeah, Braden is awesome. So, okay, cool. So you said something again. And so, what's funny, guys, if you're watching this, I always have a plan for how the interview is going to go, and I write some stuff down. As you can notice right now, my journal's over here. It's closed. I haven't even looked at the questions that I wrote down yet because Amber is dropping such bombs that I don't even need the journal right now because she's leading me every step of the way. You guys got to understand that. Okay. Now, you said something again that is near and dear to me in terms of something I teach. And you said something about you've decided that this is, you use the term, you said it, when you've decided that this is what you're supposed to be doing or this is where you're going to go. So talk to me about how important it is to make a decision in the first place.
Gosh.
Just talk to me about that.
Pivotal. Why? How? Let me think about this. I mean, it's throwing spaghetti at the wall if you don't. But also, it also has to do with how do I say this? The mental space that you are using up and blowing through that's consuming your energy by all these pieces you have when you haven't made a decision. It is the greatest barrier to success. You can decide on something and it may not be the ultimate outcome. You may decide again is what I'm saying. But that act of making a decision and moving forward and going for it, making a decision clears up so much mental chatter and gives you so much more physical and emotional energy to move forward that it's so worth it. Even if you end up making a different decision in the future, that was holding me up a lot. I'm an overthinker by nature, and I'm a strategic, left-brained, logical person. And tapping in with decisiveness and going all in on something and just taking fast, massive action knowing that I'll always catch myself, I can pivot any moment, but not hanging out in that space of indecision has changed everything in my business.
Oh, wow. It was great. Braden actually just commented, he said, this is so fire. Making that decision is so key. And he would know. So yeah, the thing about it is decision is, I think what most people don't understand is that if you're not achieving the results you want in your life, or you feel stuck, and we started this on feeling stuck, and I do believe, and you said the words, I think, without even knowing or realizing that how key it is, as far as like, you're stuck because you haven't truly decided. That's why you're stuck. You know, you haven't truly decided, because the truth is that if you've truly made that decision, when you've made it, inspires action. Period. End of conversation. It just inspires action. And by the way, for those of you listening, you know, if you know Dean, then you know that I'm going to do this. I'm going to unearth I'm going to pull the scab back a little bit on the whole decision thing, because your decision to not make a decision also inspires action. Just going the other way. It's the kind of action you don't want. So if it inspires you to stay stuck, stay stagnant, sit on the sidelines, not seek out the right help, don't get a mentor, don't get a coach, don't model a proven process, don't seek out the tools and resources, and becomes resourceful, when your indecision of making that decision causes you to do those things, that's why you get those results. Those are the actions that indecision inspires, for you to sit on the couch and become a couch potato. 2021, we don't need any couch potatoes, guys. We're looking for leaders and trust me, the knowledge brokers that are listening to this right now, people in the knowledge business like we are, we're going to rule the world. We want you to come with us. All right. So we're not done with Amber yet. I'm going to rake over the coals a little bit more, because I got more juice for this. So we talked about the decision part. And so there's something that I used to struggle with in the past. And I want to talk about it right now with you, because when I overcame this, for me, this was a big deal. Talk to me about how our friends out here can really utilize the power of vulnerability to make connections, make big impact, and really push through what they're going through in the struggles.
Amazing. Yeah, this is really important to me. Really, really, really important to me. I had a recovery journey that happened many years ago that I was really scared to share. And bottling that up was consuming me more than I really knew or would have liked to admit. But it was pretty magical, because it was something that, it was another one of those things, looking back on my life saying, man, I had the courage. Like, there's people that need that message too. That's part of my life. And I'm just being scared, shining the mirror at me instead of shining the mirror towards the people that I can help. Right. And, you know, the really important thing about it was that earlier this year, I started to share a bit more about that story, just to share the fact that it exists.
Yeah.
The way I'm sharing in this moment, and say, you know what, I overcame some really tough stuff, really, really hard things. It weaved who I am as a human being. It gave me the courage I have to be an entrepreneur, in fact. And I didn't see the correlation in the two, but I saw that the tenacity, the drive, the grit, the belief, the faith that came from that process for me were the tools that I now use to continue stepping up and being an entrepreneur, because we all know it gets a little tough at times.
Absolutely.
But I hadn't seen that those skills that are so important now came from that trying time in my life. And as I started to speak more and more about that truth, first of all, people started coming to me. A lot more people started coming to me to help with business, simply because I stepped into vulnerability about an unrelated topic. And what I found was, you know, my business grew, which is absolutely incredible, because trust was built through that vulnerability, which was amazing and kind of a surprise to me. But I also learned that those people had overcome something too. And it may not be the same thing as I had, but it may have been a terribly abusive relationship, a painful divorce, the loss of a loved one, all of these painful things that we all have to face as humans. the people who had been through those things and quickly shared that with me and had embraced that in their life and were able to use those lessons to drive the needle forward in their business with my help. Those were the people that had what it took to really grow at an incredible level and really step into service for the people that needed their help as well.
Wow, incredible. So once again, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing those knowledge bombs. So I heard 3 key things in there that I want to break down for, our people who are listening right now and for our replayers. Number 1 is, Amber said something about speaking your truth. Now, this is a cliche that you hear all the time. So, speak your truth, live your truth, but are you really doing that? Because speaking your truth also means stepping into that power of vulnerability where you can humanize yourself to other people and the people you're trying to connect to. So number 1 was truth. Second thing I heard was, because one begets the other, was that trust. If you want to build credibility, people need to know that you're human, first of all, and they need to know that you also have gone through these struggles. Whether it's not about comparing battle wounds and scars, it's about knowing that a person went through something that they perceive to be freaking hard, man, whatever that is. So if you're speaking your truth and living that vulnerability, then you build trust. Okay. And when you're doing that and you're building trust, what happens is you draw that same thing out of people. You draw that same energy out of people. So, truth, trust, and then people start to trust your process, and then they will start to do the same thing that you're doing. And that's how you know that it becomes a fit. So don't be afraid of your vulnerability. Don't be afraid to step into that and use it as I consider it to be one of the most powerful connection tools on the planet is the power of vulnerability. And I learned that for sure over the last 15 years, the moment I embraced some of my most fragile vulnerabilities. And that was key. So thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it, Amber. So moving on from, or I say moving down the line here, because I'm listening to you. Let's talk about the trust in terms of credibility part a little bit, because, and by the way, I'm pointing out some of these things because I know that they're pain points that I've seen so often in my clients and in the people that I'm charged to serve. And I know it's the same for the people that you serve. Amber, that's why I want to talk about them. Mm-hmm. What should people do when they're so desperate to build that credibility and have people trust them? What is the frame of mind they should approach this with?
Mm-hmm. What a great question. You just have to be real. There's so many rules that people put on themselves, and we think to mirror other people when we're new. But we all have gifts, and there's so many people on this planet that you're truly here to serve. And the faster you can be real, the faster you'll meet those people. Toss the rule book. There is no rule book. You make the rules. You govern your life. You decide how it gets to be.
Okay. You know what? Throw some fire signs up there for me on that one, because Amber didn't even mince words. She didn't do this long way. She just, listen, the faster you're real, the faster you start building that trust. Stop playing. Just get real quick, and that'll start to happen. So if you're still listening out there, just throw some fire signs up so I know that you're getting this message for sure, because I'm keep moving it right along here. By the way, also, why don't y'all whisper to me in the comments and let me know how would you feel if Amber was dropping these for you for like, I don't know, a day or two, and you just were a fly on the wall listening or something. And maybe she's giving me a chance to interview her again, and I'll do it live, and then we'll see what happens. What do you guys think? All right. So moving it right along. Here's something that I know all our people struggle with.
Okay.
And that is presence and captivation. Okay. So it's like, how do you show up and be present, but then not just be present, but captivate people, pull them in, draw them to you? How do you turn into the flame and they're the moth? How do you do that?
I was going to make a little joke here and just repeat, be real. Be real. It really is a matter of like, you got to set a step, take all the thoughts. I have this little thought bucket.
The thought bucket.
something I wasn't expecting to talk about. There's this little bucket outside of myself where I just drop these thoughts, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta keep clarity. You've got to not let yourself get distracted and consumed by to-do lists and all that stuff. That's a little tip, little underground tip for you. Just be present. There's someone here, as I look in this little tech device here, there's someone here that I know needs this message today. And it's my duty to be real and truthful and trust that they will receive what they need. And allow yourself to just chill out a little bit, because the more you grow in business, you'll see the less and less serious you get, the less and less nervous you get, the less pressure you feel. It just gets better and better. I promise you, as you grow as an entrepreneur, each and every part gets better and better. There's going to be challenges. That's okay. They might get bigger, and that's okay. And that's what we're in it for. There's also much bigger solutions. And so just ease up a little bit, show up, feel free to joke around, be yourself.
Cool.
And when you do that, it will be captivating.
I love it. I love it. So, so Amber, I'm going to do something here that I almost never do on interviews. And that it has everything to do with the connection I'm feeling with the person I'm interviewing. So I just felt, so I was called just now, if you want to say it's a spiritual calling, I was called just now to do this. Okay.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I strive to do or aim to do all the time is to put messaging out, put value out that attracts the people I want and repels the people I don't want to work with. You know, you and I talked about this yesterday when I tell you about how, you know, who I like to work with. So when you think about what you do, you know, and how you like to do it, I want you to, so you and I are going to go back and forth with one word adjectives. Okay. This is going to be a challenge, right?
Okay.
Yeah. One word adjectives about how we want people to show up to get the value that we're giving them. So in other words, when this person shows up to us, we are guaranteeing you're going to slam it out of the park. Let's set them up right now for success. So, and I'll go first. Okay. So here's what I mean by that. One word adjective. Engaged.
My turn.
Need to be engaged. Yeah, your turn.
Courageous.
Courageous. That's a good one. Okay. Second word. Immersion. Immersion. Total immersion. But one word, immersion.
Committed.
Committed. Okay. Second word. Authentic. Third word, I should say, authentic.
Passionate.
Passionate. Love that. Fourth one, teachable or coachable.
Driven.
Driven. All right, so we're going to do 5. So this is my number 5.
Okay.
And it's a word because I said it is. Stick-to-itedness. I said it's a word, damn it, and you're going to like it.
Yeah.
Stick-to-itedness.
It is a word, for sure. My number 5 is triumphant.
Wow. Wow. I love that. So, and if you guys don't know, you know, this is a triumphant badass leader right here, who's somebody just said LOL because we must be crazy. I mean, if you can't tell by now, Amber and I love what we do. We're obsessed with our work and what we do, and that's why it probably looks like we're having so much fun. And that brings up a point. Now that I'm saying that, you know, Amber, we're clearly having a lot of fun. Yes.
Oh yeah.
We're obsessed with what we do. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now here's a picture. Does the road behind us was all of that roses and golden and diamonds on the floor?
No, you know what? No, but we knew those diamonds were in our pocket, and that's what kept us going.
There we go. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to tell us about a time when you maybe you didn't consider quitting, or maybe you considered quitting, but you were at the low point. And some feelings came over you, and then tell us how you overcame them. You know, some feelings came over you that say, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. This is ridiculous. I'm done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there have been a few moments.
Yeah. You heard that, right? She said a few and she's still here. So go ahead. Give us one of those.
Yeah. I remember the moment when I was secure, like I was job hunting kind of quietly, and my husband Christian, who you guys will meet, walked in and said, what the heck are you thinking? And I'm like, I gotta plan this and I want to feel safe and secure, and I'm scared. And thank goodness for him. We work together. We coach each other all the time. Thank goodness for him. Actually, this is deep stuff. Okay. This caused some strain, not a lot of strain, but a little bit of strain. My husband led the way in our business by not falling into the trap that I was asking him to fall in and go out.
You laid out a trap for him and he said, "No, I'm not going for it."
Yeah, I was like, I'm scared. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Like, I'm not confident that this is going to work. This has been hard. This has been hard for a little while. And this was a few years back, but I was scared. And I'm like, I was really like, I hope he needs to get a job. Like, we need to figure this out. And he confidently stood in that place.
Yeah.
And it always works out. It is always going to work out for you, no matter what. Watch, it'll all work out. Even if it's those months that feel like it barely worked out. And maybe it was hard all month and it didn't pan out and it doesn't feel lucrative yet. I'm so glad that he stood in the leadership role in our family and said, guess what? Nope, that's not the answer to the legacy that we're building long term. I'm sorry, but that's not what we're doing. And I didn't understand it. I was confused and sad and scared and mad and every emotion in the book. But man, am I grateful for that moment.
Wow.
He led the way on faith and belief when I couldn't see it.
You know what? I hope you guys can see this, that this is like one of the greatest displays of vulnerability I'm talking about. And, when you feel like you're in those places, remember this live, this surprise live that went down with Amber and me interviewing her, because I'm talking to her and pulling some things out of her right now and she's just willingly sharing that. It's not even like pulling teeth, she's just sharing it. And why is she doing that? Because she knows it can open you up and get you to see some things that you probably don't want to see, didn't see before, or whatever is going on with you. But if your eyes aren't open right now, I don't know what you're watching, because I am getting goosebumps talking to Amber right now. And you should be too, because this is real-ish right here. And we don't have time to play around. We don't have time to play around. So thank you for sharing that. That's like deep. And look, I'm not quite done with Amber yet, but stick around until the end of this, because we're gonna have a special gift for you guys that I want you to take advantage of. We're gonna put it right down there in the comments when the time comes, for sure. But you do not want to miss out on that, because we thank you for being here and watching this and taking this in. Hopefully you're taking copious notes. And if you're ever watching this on a replay, make sure that you go check the comment that we put there on the Facebook for you guys to take advantage of. All right. So anyway, onwards and upwards. Tell me, Amber, what then, so you're a person that obviously sets goals. No question about that. Don't need to ask, right? And you've had them, your entire life in your business and things like that. So paint a picture for us, if you will. What does Amber's ultimate goal look like in terms of legacy? What are we trying to do with this? What does your page in a history book look like?
Yeah, the page in the history book. That's amazing. I'm just looking, I see the faces in my mind of the people who are grateful that they got the tools they needed when they needed them. And if I had an impact on their life in a way that allowed them to go out and create their legacy, that's what I see when you ask me that question. Nice.
I love that. Wow. I feel like you're speaking through me. I mean, or I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Your words.
Yeah, I'm just that. These are the types of things that I think about when I think about the page in a history book, or maybe the whole damn book.
Yeah.
And that it's littered with the faces of the people that I was able to serve and help, and humbly so in this life. And I can look back and go, yeah, you know what? I did something with my life. And, when my kids Google me, and with their friends standing by, they'll say, yeah, my dad done did that damn thing right there.
Yes.
He pulled that off. So I think that's great. Okay. So here's something. If you were just like, so you're on this live and I'm asking you a bunch of questions and things like that. But what one thing do you want to share where you say, you know what, I feel like delivering this message today. And I don't just want you to deliver the message. I want you to tell me why you think it's relevant. And who's it going to help. I want you to tell me,
These are those moments. These are those moments where we're like, I should have thought about this before.
Well, see, I know you got this, and that's what I'm asking. I want you to tell me why you think it's relevant and who you think it's going to serve, or what service you think it's going to have.
All right. So my motto for years has been, you're here to live an abundant life being you. And I feel that to the depths of my soul. I know that if you're watching this, and especially if you're still watching this, you're here to create anything you want in this life. And if that's wealth, great. I know you'll do great things with it. Allow yourself to want what you really want, and allow yourself to create your empire based on who you really are. Christian taught me another great thing. What it takes to build it is what it takes to maintain it. Now, this was a pivotal piece.
Ooh.
Right. So if you're crushing it and hustling 60 hours a week because you've made some rule from somewhere that's what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, just look at the fact that could, in fact, be what it takes to maintain it. Is that what you want long term? Probably not. You get to decide what you want long term. You get to decide the exact tasks that you get to do to create that. And you get to decide that that's, in fact, what it takes to build it, even if it feels new to you right now. And whatever it is on your heart that you're meant to share, there's a place for it. And there's a sea of people looking for your help with that right now. And when you are sitting in that indecisive place, the greatest thing to know about that is that people actually feel that too. So right. If you're hanging out in indecision and you're having conversations with potential clients or whatever format that looks for you, people can feel that.
Yep.
But when you make a decision that you get to live an abundant life being you, that you get to choose what details go into that, you get to choose the people you work with. When you decide all of that, things fall into place, yes, of course, on a physical level. But make sure that you remember that energetically, that shift that comes inside of you is what people feel. And it's really what creates everything that you're moving forward with in your life.
Wow. Y'all feel that? Okay. Throw some fire signs up for Amber, because I feel that. I'm going to take a second and take that in, because that's just what I got to do. I hope that you get the message that Amber is dropping down here, because, you know, it's an incredible thing to know what your purpose is and know what you're obsessed about and know how you're going to serve and who you're going to serve and what it's going to mean to them. And I think an important thing is to start thinking about what that type of service means to you. Because if you don't know that, it's going to be very, very hard for you to not just sustain it, but sustain it at a level or at a standard that you would consider something that you could be proud of and a legacy you want to pass on, whether that be to your children or just to the people of the world, to mankind, so that you leave the world a better place than it was because you were here. And I would be remiss if I didn't say to you that this is not about easy work. And the truth is, it's not even about you being hardworking. I know you're hardworking, but it's about being consistent about doing the hard work. See, there's a difference. You could be hardworking and be doing a whole bunch of busy stuff that gets you absolutely nada nothing.
Yep.
But if you're consistent about doing the hard work, like changing your mindset, like having integrity, like sticking to your purpose, like saying no when you're supposed to, to the things that you know are distracting you from what you're meant to be doing. Okay, this is the hard work I'm talking about, because most of the time, our expertise, the knowledge that we have, the technicalities that we have, these are capabilities that we have already. We've trained for them, we got them. That's usually not the issue. But staying on top of the target, staying on purpose every day, being present, like Amber talked about earlier, these are the things that I'm talking about that are hard work. We don't do these things because they're easy. We do them because they're necessary to fulfill our truly amazing purpose that we have been gifted to deliver in this life. And if you're not doing that, you're not taking responsibility for that, then you're doing yourself, your family, and the entire world a disservice if you're doing that. And when you need help, it's your responsibility to reach out. Yeah. It's your responsibility to connect with people that truly want to bring you along. It's your responsibility to connect with people that have done it and know how to bring somebody there. It's your responsibility to accelerate that gift in the world, not to wait till it busts out of you at some eventual time. Okay? Your job is to know better and then do better when you know you can accelerate that. Mm-hmm. And that being said, here's where I want to close this up. Okay? Amber actually graciously invited me to be part of a 2-day epic adventure that her husband Christian and her are putting on the 28th and 29th of December. It's a 2-day, what I want to consider a 2-day summit of knowledge bombs that features, of course, Amber and Christian, her husband, speaking into your life, helping you to grow your business, to position yourself in a way that's going to put you at the forefront, not at the back end of 2021, where you are steamrolling 2021 instead of 2021 steamrolling you. And she had the tenacity and the openness to invite 2 other people to come and deliver their message, because she knows that it's going to help you. And that is with Nicole. I forget her last name. Amber can tell you. Yep. And there's me. And I am happy to come and deliver that value. No questions asked. I'll be there whenever Amber and Christian ask me to be there. We're going to post the link down below for you. And Amber, right now, I want you to tell everyone just a little bit about what is going down.
Absolutely. Gosh, so we love doing these events because we actually get so fired up about connecting with all of you. So we could deliver this. We've got it. We've got so much knowledge you could have and take and learn from and implement. But we want to connect with you, and we want to actually help you get clarity in the moment. We want you to learn more about your messaging and maybe why it's not being heard by the people you're meant to serve. Really gain confidence as to why you are, in fact, the expert. Sometimes that's an explorative process that can bring a ton of clarity and confidence. And we want to teach you relationship-based, heart-centered sales. We want you to close more sales. We want you to grow your business, and we want you to have people help that are already asking for your help, but we want you to get seen in front of them. So we put together this event. As Dean said, the link's going to be there. There's a ton more description, more than I can give you right here, but it's really about putting everything in alignment in the way that we've been talking about today, that you wake up excited to do and that you know is going to move the needle on your business. This is a type of event that's going to allow you to make some little tweaks to really scale to anywhere between 10 and 50K per month, depending on where you're starting at. We put a ton of bonuses at the bottom. You can check those out too. You're actually going to get our own sales script for free that we've formulated over the years from some incredible leaders.
Nice.
Some stuff about how to get the energy in alignment, like we touched on today, and then our signature reverse selling process. So you can finally sit back and relax in your sales conversations, knowing that you will, in fact, absolutely be able to serve those you're meant to serve, and what we do to do that.
Love it, love it, love it. So what will happen is right on the live, I will put in the comments, I'll pin it to the top. I'll put a link there for you to go and check out this event that Amber is talking about. I think it's going to be an epic adventure, and I'm so glad I'm going to be there for it to see you guys get excited and grow for 2021. I'll put that there, leave it there. I'll make sure I remind you over the course of the next week many times. And just to be completely transparent, why am I going to remind you many times? it's not just because I'm marketing to you or because, we need to get this money or because I just feel like I need to spam Facebook. It's because I know you need to be there.
Yeah. And you know what? If I can interrupt, it's it's like such a hot time right now for coaches. I think that this is a really cool time of year every year because I see it as like this little pivotal moment for people, right? There's part of you that's like, okay, maybe I crushed it this year. It's the holidays. I'm going to sit back and relax. And then I'm going to give myself a break. And then 2021 comes and I'm going to crush it. That's just like Dean said at the beginning about these New Year's resolutions. And if you're an online coach, you don't want to do that because there are more people looking for your help in this 2-week to 1 month time frame that we're sitting in right now than any other time of the year. And that's why we did it right now.
Perfect. Well, Amber, I can't tell you how thankful I am that you allowed me to interview you and allowed me to just go off on you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
I appreciate you being so vulnerable and being so open with everybody on here. And I know that they got some knowledge bombs out of this, and can't wait for our event on the 28th and 29th. And I'm going to make sure I post this all over so that people get the message and that we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun. Looking forward to doing this with you and Christian for sure.
Me too. Thank you so much, Dean.
Appreciate it, guys. See you soon. We love you. Take care.
Bye, guys.